So we have a bunch of different statuses on the multiple listing service, and it can get confusing. It can get really confusing. I'll try to make this brief. I'll try to make it concise. A lot of times what we do on the Graham Smith team is we take your home, once we've listed, once we've agreed to work together, we take your home and we put it under the status of withhold from showings. That means that right now we've agreed to work together. We've signed all the listing paperwork to work together, and we're not ready to advertise your home on the multiple listing service yet. Maybe you're still getting it prepped. Maybe you're still meeting with our interior designer. Maybe you have different contractors or handy folks coming over to fix things. We're not ready, so we put it into that status. At that time, we don't really show the house. Now, there's always the opportunity we could, and we can talk about what that looks like. The reality, though, is this is not the time we have a lot of folks interested in the property, although we've begun to drip campaign and or have conversations with a multitude of our different colleagues about the fact that your house is going to come to the market. Once you're preparing your home for the market, we're going to move the property rather to a coming soon status. Now, this is where different realtors are going to have differing opinions on this. In my experience and in our opinion, once you pass about 7 days as a coming soon, there's a diminishing return. People get tired of it. It's the same old property that hasn't been available for 2 weeks. The multiple listing service will allow you to be a coming soon for up to 21 days. We target about 5 to 7 calendar days. Now, while we're at that status, we will use exterior pictures only. This is kind of a tease to the market. We're preparing your home, bringing it to the market. We're starting to see the folks that raise their hand and say, hey, I've got an interested buyer. Or the buyers that are contacting us and saying, hey, I saw that on my favorite website and I'd like to know when it's going to be available for showings. When we put it on the MLS, we're going to be telling our colleagues when you're available for showings. So over those 5 or 7 days, we're going to be advertising and compiling big lists. That's what we use the coming soon status for. When we go active, that's when the showings start. And the idea is that we will have agents that are contacting you through our app that we share with you to set up showings at a time that works for the both of you. If there's any issues with that, we'll be involved too, and you can always contact us. Now, while we're allowing people to show, this is when buyers and their agents are coming through your home. They're looking at their home. They're maybe critiquing it, maybe falling in love with it, and we're contacting them. We're having back and forth, voice-to-voice conversations, email to email, text to text, getting as much feedback as we can and encouraging them to make offers. Now, with that being said, if you find yourself in a market that homes aren't selling in the first day or two, and you find yourself in a situation that you can't show your house for a day or two, we move the property over to a status called temporarily not available for showings. The multiple listing service says if we can't show your home for 24-hour consecutive periods, we have to move it to temporarily not available for showings. These are the statuses that we use the most until we have an accepted offer. Now, when we have an accepted offer, the MLS requires us to update the MLS and the listing with whatever the status is. If you've accepted an offer contingent upon inspection, we have to note it. If you've accepted an offer contingent upon the sale of another home, we have to note it. And once all contingencies are removed, we move to pending. Pending goes all the way until the closing date, and that's when you have a closed property and it goes to the sold status. Those are the different statuses that are regulated through the multiple listing service. We use the ones that we have to use when we have to use them, and we use some of the others to strategically get as many people in the door as possible and as many eyes on your property. And we have particular and specific ways we proactively prospect your home through that coming soon, and some reverse prospecting tools we have that we've either already shared with you, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to call me because they're really cool. That talks about all the different statuses. If you have more questions, give me a call.